What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Bullish Chips, where we use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day. This channel happens to focus on the Bullish Semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL. But the charting method and the trading method that we use can be implemented with any company that's traded in the US stock market. So make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy this video. It really helps the channel grow. It's free. We offer this free channel, and we really appreciate those who continue to tune in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. That way you are alerted to when we release new videos. We release bonus content from time to time, so you want to check those out. Now, the nightly and weekend videos, like tonight's video, we mostly identify triggers and targets for trades ranging from scalps and intraday trades all the way up to long-term swings or leap trades. So if you do want a deeper dive into exactly how we set up our charts, make sure you check out that bonus content. We've got a couple of videos that dive deeper into the support resistance levels we use, broadening formations, things of that nature, and for a free PDF with a free reference guide for the strat, which is the base of our charting and trading method. You can find a link to that PDF in the description of this video. So I do encourage you to watch the full video. Yes, we do give triggers and targets, but we give some pretty good insight on price action on all time frames, essentially. So stay tuned with us through the full video, and I'm sure you'll be glad that you did. Let's go ahead and take a look at the agenda for today's video. We'll go ahead and recap the price action from today, Thursday, December 18th. Then we'll zoom out like we always do, get a level set, take a look at the week, month, quarter, and year charts. We'll look at the market maker's expected move for Friday, December 19th, and then we'll zoom back in, set the 4-hour markers and the triggers and targets for Friday, December 19th, and we'll do a quick review of the triggers and targets for the week, month, quarter, and year as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the chart here. Looking at the 5-minute intraday, like we always start out with. We like to look at this because this is how we have an advantage and a proven strategy to get into, early scalps early in the morning, or get early entries into longer, day trades in whatever direction the day is going to trend. So the general rule is we look for higher lows at or above opening print, or the first traded price of the day. If we get a higher low at or above opening print, we want to look to get into calls, looking for overnight high and previous high a day as our targets. On the other side of the coin, if we get open and we push down and we get a lower high below at or below opening print, then we want to look to get into puts targeting overnight low and previous low a day. So we have here today's price action, and you can see opening print was right here at overnight high. And this is what we talked about, I think it was 2 days ago. And I said I would start speaking on it a little bit more because most of our examples just show, predicting an opening print somewhere in between the overnight high and overnight low. But a lot of times you can get inventory skewed to one side, right? So if we open right at overnight high, that means, that's where, everybody overnight bought it up to that level. And so a lot of times you can get a small sell-off, essentially, right? You have all of your, once the market actually opens, you can have your overnight traders that are taking profit, right? And especially if they're opening right around a specific horizontal level of resistance or support, that can help with the reaction that you have. So you can see here we opened up, we ticked up slightly, and then we started to push down. Right, we bounced off of the month flip. That's this red dashed line here. That's what determines whether the month is red or green. And we pushed up a little bit. We pushed through it, hit last month's 50% level. We've talked about that multiple times now. And we bounced, right? But this is where we got the lower high, basically at opening print. So once price went below this 2 up, that locks this 2 up in as a lower high in comparison to this high. And then we went ahead and entered some calls. We entered some puts for the push to the downside. Now it was a long wait to see what happened with these contracts, right? We just got sideways action today, which is totally understandable because we had a huge down day yesterday, right? So a lot of times after a big down day, you can have a bounce, but a lot of times there's a sideways day to just digest what happened the previous day, right? People kind of got to get their bearings back. Some people, waiting before they jump back in because they just sold a bunch of stuff or whatever. For whatever reason, a lot of times you will get a sideways day after a big up day or a big down day, right? Digest that movement. So that's what we got here, right? We pushed down, made a lower low, came back up, made a lower high, rejecting off of the month flip, right? So we're back red on the month, and basically just bounced in between that and last month's 50% level. Now we do have this hourly broadening formation coming down through here, this light blue dashed line. So again, we don't put a lot of weight into trend lines by themselves, but when they're over or intersecting major support resistance levels, that's when we give them a little bit more weight. And you can see it intersected with last month's 50% level here, and we just kept rejecting, right? And because of the action that we were getting, looking at the internals, how they were pretty neutral from the standpoint of price action to what the internals were reading, we went ahead and we stopped out at this higher high, right? So we got the higher low here, we pushed down, but we got a higher low. It was followed by a lower low, so we stayed in it, but then we got this higher low, and then finally a higher high. So we went ahead and stopped out for minimal gain. There was barely anything there. We were at the money, expirations for next week. So we just unloaded them there. We unloaded the whole position. Didn't want to leave any runners just because, it looked like we would have sideways action. And a lot of times your best trade is just to not trade. So there wasn't really much else for us the rest of the day other than just watching, trying to see what would happen. Of course, monitoring like the 1 hour, because we did end up setting a lower high, but then a higher low on the 1 hour, right? So that's just more of an indication. Oops, let's make this bigger for everyone to see, right? This is the low of Wednesday. We pushed up, couldn't make a higher high. So here's your lower high, push back down, but you made a higher low here. Push back up, made a lower high. So it's just consolidation at that point. And really, once you get this higher low after the lower high, you should already know it's consolidation, and that's why we went ahead and got out at that point and just kind of watched. 4 hour, we didn't really get a trigger, right? It didn't lock in a lower high, right? So the first 4 hour candle of the day did go 2 up, right? We got that 2 down, 2 up that we were talking about. It did not reach magnitude, right? So it didn't make an equal high or a higher high. We're at a lower high so far, but this red candle stayed inside. We didn't actually tick down and make it 2 down to lock this in as a lower high. So we're still in limbo on the 4 hour, which is evident by the 1 hour, which with what we just talked about, the lower highs and higher lows, right? So we're just consolidating, and we just got to be patient. Last trading day of the week this week, tomorrow. This was the last full trading week of the year. So Santa Claus rally generally starts the end of December, rolls over into the beginning of January. So could this be, a basing pattern where we're just kind of flattening out before we push back up? Possibly. At the same time, could this just be a lower high on the 4 hour and the 1 day if we ever get a 2 up on the day, right? Right now, we can't say it's going to be a lower high because we didn't put in that 2 down. And we don't know how high this could push, right? We could turn around tomorrow and go 2-1, 2 up reversal, and then just continue running, right? We have this 4 hour downtrend, this gray dash line here, so there's plenty of room to push up. And really on the 4 hour, this was just a soft higher low here because it's part of this 3 candle, this bearish engulfing candle. The last real concrete higher lower high is up here. So we have all this room that we can come before making a higher high, a solid higher high on the 4 hour chart. So, still leaning bearish because we have not broke the downtrend on the 1 hour, 4 hour yet, but we do seem to be flattening out. And I think expectations for any type of real major bounce, don't get too far ahead of your skis, right? If we do continue to push up tomorrow, just keep in mind, right? We got last week's low here as a point of resistance. And it lines up with the 78.6 fib of the October 2025 range, which we've fallen back into, right? We've got the 4 hour downtrend overlapping or intersecting the week flip level, which if you're familiar with this channel, you know that the week flip, especially intraday, is a very big support resistance level. And that lines up with the 100% fib of the October 25 range. So you've got a lot of resistance up here, even if we do go 2 up on the 4 hour and 2 up on the day. All right, so just keep that in mind. Looking at the day chart, like we said, we didn't get the 2 up today. Let's get a little cleaner chart here. We didn't get the 2 up, right? We're still inside But that does leave us the opportunity for a 2-1, 2-up reversal tomorrow. But again, we've got these levels of resistance, and you're going to need to watch out to see how Friday finishes, because if you got some type of inverted hammer or anything like that, then it could have just been, Friday could have just been a setup for a 1, 2 up, then 2 down on Monday, which of course we know the magnitude of that move is not the low of the 1, but actually the candle to the left of the 1. So that would take us all the way back to that 35.69 level, right? So again, inside day, not a lot happening. If you made some money scalping on the smaller time frames, congratulations. I applaud you. It's not what we typically shoot for, especially if you're getting down there past the lower than the 5-minute chart. Even that 5-minute, we only watch that for the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of the day, and then we gradually move into looking at that 15 and 1 hour and 4 hour, and depending more on those. So if you're in there scalping on those low time frames, I congratulate you, and just continue doing what you're doing. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit more, take a look at the week, right? We know that we made that higher low, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago on the week, but then this 2 down on this week did give us a lower high, so neutralizing at worst right now until we make a lower low on the week. I'm not ready to say we're in bearish territory. It would take a lower low to put us into a downtrend on the week, so look for just more sideways action if we don't hammer up. If we get a green day tomorrow and we kind of hammer this candle up on the week, we've got a better chance of going 2 up, making this another higher low. But you just got to keep in mind that there is a high probability that we could just be moving sideways, right? Digesting this move and this move. Those were two pretty big moves, right? So we've got to digest that. And it's given us a nice little range to play with, right? Let's zoom out a little bit more, take a look at the month. Not a whole lot to say here. Still an insight on the month. Trying to make last month a higher low, but until that happens, we're just continuing to monitor. Got to have patience. Like we've been talking about, nothing is really breaking down from the higher time frames, so not a lot to say there. From the quarter perspective, again, same thing. We did get back above this 36.15 level, which re-triggered this 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up, so we're still shooting for the 70.08 magnitude, but not a lot of momentum at this point. The one thing we do need to watch out for, watching 2026, that first quarter, we need to go 2 up, right? We need to go make this higher high, because if we go 2 down, first quarter 2026, that locks us in as a lower high coming from a lower low. Now we're starting a downtrend, right? So now we're looking at 2026 being more of a red year, looking at possibly filling any and all of these gaps to the downside. So just keep that in mind. Again, we're not predicting that would happen. We don't make predictions on this channel. What we do is we get prepared for price action, no matter which way it goes, right? And on the year, sounding like a broken record here, we started with a 1, 2 up, 2 down, but we were able to make a higher low as of now, and creating this more hammer candle, definitely green, so above where we opened, which is a good thing, but still running into some resistance at last year's 50% level. So want to continue to see that push up through the limited days of trading we have left in this year, and finish as high as we can. That way we got a good chance of going 2 up as soon as possible next year, which triggers a 2 down, 2 up, which again has that 70.08 target, right? So that's what we have from a zoomed out view. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market maker's expected move. And to do that, come on now, pull up our options chain. This is Thinkorswim. If we look at the options chain for December 19th, that's tomorrow, we look over to the right, and in this in the parentheses, we've got a plus or minus 2.013. So that is the market makers giving a plus or minus $2.01 move, essentially, from the close price of Thursday. So if we go back over to our chart, we take a look here, we can see, let's go to like a 4 hour. We can see that we have the market maker's expected move marked out here. So if we go to the notes real quick, right, again, we got this $2.01 plus or minus move. So if we take 38.58, we add $2.01, we get 40.59. 30.58 minus $2.01, we get 36.57. So that gives us a range that the market makers expect price to move in on Friday between 40.59 and 36.57. All right, so you can see here we've got market maker low 36.57. That lines up pretty evenly with the market maker's expected low for the whole week, which is where we've been hanging out. And then the market maker's expected move high is back around last week's low, which again we talked about earlier in the video. That is a level of resistance. So those two levels do make sense. It does indicate another inside day as far as inside of Wednesday's action, that big action, but it does lean more towards a 2 down than a 2 up. Now, from the day perspective, let's go to the day chart. That's not the worst thing in the world as well, right? If we go 2-1, 2 reversal or continuation to the downside, it does give us the opportunity to maybe, bounce off a market maker's expected move low or last quarter's high and, kind of wick back up, give us a hammer candle pattern, and that would set up a 1, 2 down, 2 up on Monday, right? And that would, bring us back up into this $41 area and, hopefully give us some momentum to start going back up and retest last year's 50% level again. We've talked about how that level has been a major level of resistance and support. All you got to do is take a look to the left, resistance, resistance, a little bit of support here, resistance, 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 a little bit of support, resistance. So that's that major level that we've got to get back to and conquer to continue that push up to the 70.08 target. All right. So let's take a look at the notes here and just look at the hard numbers that we've got. Again, this is for Friday, December 19th. There will be 8 trading days left in the year. On Friday, December 19th, we know the close price on Thursday was 38.58. We know what it takes for the month and the week to flip back green. We're close to flipping the month back green, but we did close below that. We know the quarter and the week and the year are green, so we have just the levels out here that would take to flip them red, just so we have them as a quick reference. We know what the market maker's expected move is for the week and for the day, and then we always want to be aware of where our gaps above and gaps below are. We talked about previously how you want to look for higher lows at or above opening print to get into calls. From a scalping perspective, and you want to look for lower highs at or below opening print to get into puts. Again, that's from a scalping perspective, early in the morning or just, early entry into the greater move for the day. From the 4-hour perspective, we talked about how there is the possibility for the 2-1, 2 down continuation that would trigger at 38.46 and take you to a magnitude of 38.11. So not a lot of magnitude there. So we do have a couple of extended targets listed here. If we were to go to the upside, that will give us a 2-1, 2 up reversal, triggering at 39.80 and giving us a magnitude of 40.42. So not a lot of magnitude on that move either. So we've listed some extended targets here for you as well. On the day chart, again, we had an inside day. So if we go to the downside on Friday, that gives us a 2-1, 2 down, triggering at 38.11. A little bit better magnitude here on the day. That would take you down to 35.70. If we have another day where it's just a sell-off again, we've got some extended targets here for you. But if we do go to the upside, that gives us a 2-1, 2 up reversal. That triggers at 40.42. Gives you a little bit more magnitude than the downside, taking you to 41.32. But if we get some steam going, we went ahead and listed out the extended targets for you here. Right? So it's everything from scalping all the way up through the day. We won't go back to the charts for the rest of them either. We'll talk about the week. The week is red. We triggered a 2 up, 2 down, which took us to 39.46, at which point it triggered a 2 up combo 2 down. And we did reach magnitude for that. We even went to an extended target here of 36.45 on Wednesday. But we have pushback up, so if we do get downside action and we get past that 36.45 level again, we've got some more extended targets for you here. Not sure that we would hit those, but we've got to list them. We've got to be prepared for price action in either direction, right? Be pretty hard to make the week at 3. Have to get all the way up to 50.09. Not betting on that tomorrow, so won't go too much more into that. Again, on the month we are inside. Still got a ways to go to the downside to trigger a 2 down, and a ways to go to the upside to trigger a 2 up. So not a whole lot more to say here on that perspective. Just basically what we went over when we looked at the chart. From the quarter, again, we've got back and forth on the 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up. So just trying to continue to push up to that 70.08 level, but continuing to monitor how the quarter ends, because we've got to monitor that first quarter of 2026, make sure we don't go 2 down and lock in a lower high on the quarter. But for now, just trying to continue to move up to that 70.08 level. And then we've got the intermediate targets on the way up to 70.08 for you. And then on the year, we talked about we did trigger a 1, 2 up, 2 down, but we were able to make a higher low and create, more of a hammer type of candle, finishing, well, not finishing. We are green, so we're above where we opened. So just trying to finish, as high as we can in that candle and give us some momentum going into 2026, so we can trigger that 2 down, 2 up, which again has that 70.08 target. So there you have it. Those are your triggers and targets for everything from a scalping perspective all the way up to the 1-day chart. We did go through it a little bit fast today. We've got some things that we've got to get done after this, but we did try and pack in as much information as we could without taking up too much of your time. So we hope you did enjoy it. Again, if you made it this far, we would very much appreciate if you can give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, helps us understand where we are, affecting people and helping people out. So it is free. This channel is free. So we just ask for that free exchange. If you viewed this video and found it, the information beneficial to you, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. But other than that, we'll go ahead and end the video like we normally do. If you're watching this on Thursday night, we hope you get some good rest tonight. Wake up refreshed tomorrow and ready to get out there trading. If you're watching this Thursday morning or Thursday during the day, we hope you got some good rest last night and woke up ready for trading this morning. And we look forward to getting out there and trading with you.